Hey, here we are. Welcome to the Baco Motorsports Power Hour, and Steve Hughes is with me from Kern County Raceway Park.
Hey, man. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Mike Griffith, longtime motorsports rider for the Bakersfield Californian. And Steve and I were both watching the intro that Chris put together for us this year, and we just really like that intro.
That's really good. Yeah.
Kind of gives a quick idea of what we talk about on this show.
Yeah.
I think Bakersfield being blessed with a variety of racetracks, including Buttonwillow Raceway out there, the two different road courses.
Yeah.
That basically a lot of cow club racing and a lot of testing and club racing out there. But we're going to start off with national stuff, and there was a little race back in Daytona, Florida.
Yes.
This past weekend.
An entire
right.
week. They call it Speed Weeks.
Speed Weeks, and kind of an entire week. And it was certainly a very, very good start for Ryan Reed of Bakersfield.
Certainly was.
Xfinity Series, and it doesn't get much better than this. Winner.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Was there in the winner's circle in 2015. Hadn't won since 2015, and now comes back with a big win. Second win in 3 years at Daytona in the spring.
And you can see that first slide. You go back to that, Chris. Very there on the very bottom, well, the top of the bottom. Mm-hmm. He qualified second, started on the outside of the front row, led the first lap.
Yes.
That was the only lap he led for a long time until the end. But
yeah.
But what a good run. And here, this slide here, I think that, keep on the slide for a while, Chris, but I think the thing at Daytona this year, starting with the trucks on Friday night, continuing with Xfinity race, and on into Sunday's Cup race, Monster Energy.
Yes. The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Yes.
Yeah, there's a mouthful.
Yes.
Anyway, down here in the bottom left, just you can see over the guardrail there, that's Ryan Reed spinning through the grass.
The Lilly Diabetes number 16 Ford Mustang sliding through at about 186 miles an hour through the grass.
And he was sideways through there for a long time. Luckily didn't tear anything up, didn't hurt anything, avoided that one. And here he is.
That's a good shot.
Yeah, 3 wide there.
That's a good shot.
At Daytona. So you can only do that in a couple places. And the finish here at the end. And, I think he said on there, that first slide showed him sliding through there. He also slid through the grass on another big one with 17 to go.
Yes. Pretty amazing run.
So the fact that he somehow avoided these things, did no damage. He said on the radio, "I'm going to burn this to the ground," and that's a burnout for the ages.
Absolutely. And who he outran in the closing laps of that race?
3 Cup drivers.
Yes, outran them all. It was pretty amazing feat by the young driver from Bakersfield, California.
And is very, very happy there in victory lane. And Kevin, and the thing is, Kevin Harvick, who does some announcing for Fox when he can on the Xfinity Series, was, of course, the announcer for this. And I think Harvick made some cases that he just happened to be in the right place at the right time in 2015 and won.
Right.
He repeated several times during this race that he was running well and that it looks like he knew how to win. He wanted to win. He was aggressive. He was going for the win, not just being in the right place. And it turned out at the end that going for the win.
Yeah, he definitely showcased his skill level, how much it has improved over that 2015 victory with this 2017 win. And outrunning the guys that he outrun just emphasized that point that Ryan's just not out there and hoping to finish in a good spot. In this race, he earned it, and what a great way to kick off the season for that team.
Yeah, and we've got a video here from Ryan in the victory conference along with his car owner, Jack Roush.
Ryan, you've got a knack of navigating this place. Walk through the race from your perspective and how you made it to victory lane.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of very aggressive driving, I feel like, and by myself at parts. And once I kind of got shuffled out early, trying to be aggressive, I took a step back and felt like, okay, you know what, let's just calm it down, get to the end of this thing. Felt like everyone was being really aggressive, hanging people out, and just, doing, myself included. So talked to crew chief and spotter and just decided, let's just get through this first segment. Not going to get any points, but let's just get through it. And then that huge wreck happened right after we decided to do that. And so got through that, and then moving on into the middle part of the race is still just a lot of a lot of very aggressive driving. And early on, I think it was the format changes. I think last night in the Truck Series we saw it, then again tonight. And so I knew I had to position myself towards the front to have a shot, but also, too, you had to keep yourself out of trouble. And then we got in that last wreck and went through the grass for the second time. I really am over sliding through that little area of grass down there in turn 3. But, we came out of there again, survived it, and we went back out there and kind of felt it out. And next thing I know, we were up inside the top 3 and took the lead. We were shot out of a cannon. And after that, I knew how strong our race car was, and so it was up to me to get it out front. And if I get it out front, do whatever I have to do to keep it there. And so you don't get race cars like that very often. And when you do, you really got to try and capitalize, persevere through, a lot of adversity today. But, I felt like this race team's done that a lot over the last couple of years. Lily has stuck with us. We've just never gave up. And, I try and emulate that in a lot of areas of my life, whether it's diabetes or driving race cars or anything else, and it seems to pay off. So glad to be back here.
I'm glad to be here with Ryan and, of course, with Lily and with the American Diabetes Association, all the things that are involved with that. Ryan is a fabulous role model for people that have got I'm not going to say a disease, but got a distraction in their lives. And Ryan has overcome that, and he'll make a cup driver one day if I can find sponsorship for him, and I'm sure I'll be able to do that.
You see Ryan up there, and I kind of think of him running Legends at Irwindale, a little bit of late model out at KCRP.
Yep.
His father, Mark Reed, raced for years in a variety of different classes and stuff, very good racer. And the whole story behind Ryan, he graduated early, a semester early from Liberty, was going back to North Carolina, trying to start his racing career, move up the ladder, and was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And just devastating. Told he could never race again. Of course, he found a doctor who said he could, and this is a story of perseverance for sure.
Yeah, way to take adversity and move it to an advantage. And we talked about this before when Ryan first entered that Xfinity Series. He was the driver that had type 1 diabetes, and over that first year when we saw him win at Daytona, finish in the top 10 the last 2 seasons in the standings, making the first ever chase last year in the Xfinity Series, and now coming back after 16 and winning this race. He's a legit driver. I think he's got a lot of talent. I think he's really coming into his own. 3rd season in the Xfinity Series. This is really going to be a great season for him.
Okay, we'll go from there, and they're going to Atlanta along with the Cup. Mr. Harvick, freaky fast, led the most laps at Daytona. And we'll talk about this. He finished 23rd at Daytona, but he finished 2nd in the first segment.
Right.
First in the second segment, which those are now rewarded points, 10, 9, 8 on down for the top 10 drivers.
And he got a bonus point.
He's got bonus points. 4th in points.
Yeah, not only did I
this is where his car quit being freaky fast.
I am no longer a fan of Jamie McMurray. He absolutely destroyed this race, I think, in that third segment.
He caused 2 wrecks.
He was the cause of
the
2 big ones in that third segment. I like the racing. I like the entire speed weeks. I like the duels. I liked everything about the Truck Series, Xfinity. I'm a fan of this segment racing.
Right, and I don't think so much. And Kurt Busch is a fan of the segment racing too,
most
because
certainly is.
He survived celebrating here, and I think the next slide is with Gronk.
Oh, nice.
And I heard he was on one of the sports talk shows the next day, and he was a little kind of not quite all there. He said he had partied long and hard with Gronk.
He said, when they're at games or like the Super Bowl, which when he was interviewed about the Super Bowl, of course he was there for the Patriots' latest victory. He said, I don't get to tailgate. My family does, my brothers do. I don't get to tailgate at the Daytona 500. I get to tailgate, and he
tailgated, and a big win, and obviously Harvick with Stewart Haas Racing moved to Fords this year. Teammate Kurt Busch, so Stewart Haas Racing, that last video of Tony Stewart there with Kurt Busch and victory circle. So you switch manufacturers and you come away with the win in your first race. Not a bad gamble.
Not a bad gamble at all. Congratulations to Tony Stewart finally getting to victory lane in the Daytona 500. Now as an owner, never could get there in 18 years as a driver, but his first attempt at it, after he retires as an owner, he gets a win. If you saw the photos of him showing off that great ring that they give the Daytona 500 champion. But I want to touch a little bit on how Kurt Busch's car looked after the race. There was so much talk about all the damage, the 5-minute clock, this and that. These cars that are damaged are never going to be able to get up front and win. Look at that thing. I mean, the entire right side's nearly taken off.
That's got a Darlington stripe.
I know, a Barabond on the tail end. You see some Barabond on the front end of the race car, and he drove away from those guys on that final lap. Of course, a lot of them running out of gas.
Yeah, they did. So
yeah, but
good win there.
What a big deal for him.
Good deal. They go to Atlanta this week, so we'll see how the segment racing and everything goes there.
Yeah.
NHRA was at Wild Horse outside of Phoenix.
Yeah.
Running there, and we had
Leah Pritchett.
Leah Pritchett.
I mean, really, 3 years ago, we were watching her at the March meets.
Well, in 2010, so that's why she won her first funny car race in a nostalgia funny car at the March meet in 2010.
Oh boy,
we have a little video here.
Leah Pritchett is gonna do it on a baby hole shot. 3.705, the slower ET compared to Brittany's 3.704. The difference made up when Leah Pritchett got off the starting line first. You and your team have run.
Boy.
Yeah,
sorry.
And that was a rematch between Brittany Force and Leah, and she got her on the starting line, and just incrementally a little bit, the whole track just faster.
That was a great drag race. That was a great drag race.
And the thing there is, because we're leading into the March meet at Auto Club Famoso Raceway this weekend, a lot of NHRA talk. This was the third matchup, all-female top fuel final in NHRA history. Yeah. They talk a lot about Lucille Lee and Shirley McDowney being the first. Mm-hmm. The first ever all-female top fuel final was Lucille Lee, Shirley McDowney, 1982 March meet. Lucille Lee won.
Nice.
Shirley was not happy.
No, I think that was in the pink Pioneer car.
Yes.
Pioneer audio car.
Yeah. So
I was a fan of Lucille Lee.
The 25th annual March meet, and boy. That was the first one, but it doesn't count because it was not an NHRA event. It was an independent race.
Wow.
So there you go, a little history there.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. You're the one that I can always go to for that kind of info. Little factoid. And with that, we'll end this segment of the Baco Motorsports Power Hour, and we're going to be back in the next segment talking to Steve Hughes about Kern County Raceway Park. I get to stay.